President Trump taking a victory lap after he was cleared of collusion by Robert Mueller.
Lasted a long time. We're glad it's over. It's 100% the way it should have been. We can never, ever let this happen to another president again.
All right, so with Russian collusion in the rear view for now, can Republicans refocus their efforts to getting something done in Congress?
Here now to weigh in is Oklahoma Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So what do you think? Do you think Democrats can actually move on enough to be able to put their focus elsewhere and get things accomplished?
You know, I'd hope so. We've been talking a lot about infrastructure and about possibly moving it forward. The issue that the Democrats have right now with the infrastructure, which is vitally important to our U.S. economy, is they're wanting to do the pay for through the tax cuts that we have out there, which is a non-starter. So far, all we've seen from the Democrats is just more of the same. All they're trying to do is go after the president. Now that this collusion part is down, maybe we can move forward.
I mean, was a lot of the resistance, in your opinion, there when you're working on the Capitol, I mean, was it a lot of it tied to the fact that the president was under this investigation? Because it certainly felt like that was the big reason why they wanted to resist everything.
I think at first it was, but the longer the investigation went on, keep in mind, they knew more than likely it wasn't going to come out with anything. If they had, they would have found it early on. It was just a way for them to keep political points. Their hatred for the president is off the chart, and they're willing to do anything they can to bring down the president, and they're not going to give him a win in any shape at all, especially now that we're, literally a few months away from the first Democrat presidential debate, which comes up in June. They're not looking to give any wins. It's not about the American people. It's about their hatred towards the president. That's why the infrastructure package, that's why their proposal right now for the pay for is to take away the American tax cuts that the president and the Republican Party put in place.
Do you think that the fight that they are now beginning to look for, what's in that report as far as obstruction goes, do you think them continuing to fight that is going to end up hurting them in the long run?
Well, listen, if the investigators that we put in place to investigate it that had over 500 subpoenas issued, over 500 search warrants, and interviewed a little over 500 people, couldn't find anything, I really don't think that a partisan group of people from Congress is going to be able to find it either. It's absurd, but they're not going to let it die. They're going to continue to go after the president and continue to go after him until they exhaust all other ends. And yes, they're going to play a political price for it at the end of the day.
Yeah,
without
I mean,
question.
People forget that. I mean, you had a House and a Senate investigation into all this, and the Democrats just yawned or whatever. Bob Mueller was the big thing that they all were waiting for. Now they've got the Bob Mueller investigation, and now, we've got more House investigations.
And then they're going to brush it off and say, hey, look, we don't believe in the report. We're going to continue to move forward. You're going to hear Congressman Jerry Nadler, he's going to continue to go after the president. And it's shameful. It's ridiculous. What the president said, why we need to move on and make sure this never happens to another president, is exactly right. At the end of the day, he is commander-in-chief and he is the president of the United States. We should all respect that office. You can disagree politically, but we shouldn't try to make political gains by trying to tear down that office.
Yeah. Moving on here, another topic, Green New Deal. Everybody's still talking about it. A big vote coming up. What do you see this as, and what do you think will happen?
Well, I think it's designed to put a lot of Democrats on record if they're going to support this political socialist platform. The Green New Deal is not about climate change. It has nothing to do with eliminating fossil fuels. It has to do with controlling our lives, getting into our homes, controlling our buildings, controlling our high schools, our universities, controlling our travel, and controlling our food supply by controlling the farms. And what we're trying to do is say, hey, are you for a socialist platform? Are you really for this political Green New Deal? Or are you for the American people? And this is what it's all about, literally putting them on record.
Let's take a look at this quote, a summary of this is former President Obama's quote to the freshman House Democrats, and it reads, quote, "We as Democrats shouldn't be afraid of big, bold ideas, but also need to think in the nitty-gritty about how those big, bold ideas will work and how you pay for them." What do you make of that? How you pay for them?
Well, it's not even about paying for it. It's going to be expensive. We all know this. Just Medicaid for all is going to cost over $32 trillion within the first year. This has to do, as I said before, about socialism. Cortez is an unapologetic socialist. And her proposal is about moving this country towards socialism. And when you start talking about the Green New Deal and you really break it down, and when you take climate change and you say that climate change is the #1 issue facing this country, and you make it a national emergency, they're able to take our buildings, take our universities, take our farms through eminent domain. And she knows that, and so does those individuals that are supporting it. So it has nothing to do with even costs. It has to deal with moving our political structure that we have towards a socialist platform.
Yeah.
And so it should scare the American people, but yet they wrapped it up in this pretty little package that has to do with Green New Deal, and people think it has to do with energy savings, and it really has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, Pelosi's scared of the freshman class of Democrats, these
be.
few, and it sounds like Barack Obama is as well. Sir, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right.